This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is sponsored by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, and attend one of our incredible networking events. Be sure to register, and we'll see you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Brad Balentine of TriPoint Electric. Brad, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Rich.
TriPoint Electric. How did all that get started for you, Brad?
So, just about 15 years ago, I was having a big life change. I had been an electrician for years, and kind of had to get out of the just electrical worker party boy lifestyle and had to change some things. And so I had an honest conversation with myself and my family, which at that time was just my parents. And they were like, you know what, you're a pretty good electrician. Why don't you go get your master electrician license and go start your own business? And at that time, I had no girlfriend, no debt, no kids, nothing. And I was like, all right, let me give this a try, having no idea what I was getting into. But I got my license and literally just started knocking on doors, making calls and calling friends and family and going from there.
What can your clients, customers expect when they work with TriPoint Electric?
Communication, professionalism, and execution. I think the biggest flaw I hear contractors come across and what customers tell us is communication. We get so busy when we're smaller or even bigger that people don't answer the phone. They're, leaving out do not disturb, and clients and people are just not heard. Here we have a person answering your phones and they're trained to answer it, field it, and make sure that you're being heard and that you're going to be responded to.
Talk about some of the trends, projects today people are doing in their homes or businesses.
So a lot of recently is a lot of home automation and then EV charging stations. The automation, it sounds like a big technical term. And yes, we can go down the rabbit hole of talking about lighting and powering integration. But the automation can be as simple as installing a Lutron switch, which can control the bathroom lights, hallway lights, and then you can link it up to your phone and do it for time allotment, motion sensor. And these things, they used to be expensive, but now they're getting relatively affordable, and where it allows you to save money on the bills. And that can get pretty vast, though. If you're running a restaurant, you can do many controls through Lutrons and systems. And then the EV charging stations, although that's slowed down a little bit with the EV credits not being implemented as much anymore through the government, there's still a lot of EV charging stations being installed to try to keep up with the demand. People do want to save and go green friendly. And so we're doing a lot of EV charging stations at people's homes and businesses where we're able to plug it in when they go to work and then when they get to home.
You talk about starting TriPoint about 15 years ago, and you go out on your own. But what have been some of those aha moments for you in growing TriPoint Electric and developing your business that you said, you know what, this was the right decision, and I am really glad I made it?
I would say number one is I don't want to say, hey, the customer's always right. That's not the thing, but just trying to make the customer happy along with, getting the work done the right way. Like my immediate first aha moment or recognition or pat on the back was just getting a job done when somebody called around and they couldn't get somebody out there, or they did it wrong, or they failed inspection, and then me going out there, quoting the work and doing it for them, and then being so relieved, making it hassle-free. And that's like one of our pillars. It's like we want to make a hassle-free experience, because we know there's so many people that can not show up, they can overcharge, undercharge, which is problematic. We want to make it as easy as possible. And that's been learned throughout the years, but really just making it a hassle-free experience, but getting it done. And that feeling of finishing a project for a homeowner or a builder, that feels good.
As a real estate agent, you said something important to me, inspection. And quite often, one of the things that does come up, especially in Delco, is you've got an older box, you've got an older service cable, you've got an older electric system. Do you would tell people, or you would suggest, hey, you know what? maybe it's just have a good idea to have somebody come in and evaluate your electric system to make sure it's up to code, and avoid certain pitfalls down the road.
Absolutely. A lot of the electrical inspections we come across do come from real estate agents or title companies, and some just wanting to upgrade their own home because they see that it's older. But that is where you'll see the fuse boxes, old circuit breakers, outdated outlets. There's a life cycle to all devices. And now, anything that's becoming like 25, 30 years old, you're going to want to replace it. You got the two-prong outlets, you need GFI protection, arc fault protection, better lighting. Like, I mean, how many times have we walked into a room and we don't even see a light switch anywhere near it? Now with inspections and codes, so you have to have a light accessible, GFI protection, well lit, because it's a safety thing. The older homes and this Philadelphia region, so many older homes. But now the code's updated, townships are really well acclimated, and we want to keep that trend going as well.
I hear you speak so much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much experience. How do you keep up on all that? And how do you continue to train your staff and your crew and everybody that works with you?
For me, I'm a master electrician, and we have several master electricians within TriPoint. But for me to uphold the license, we have to do about 10 hours of continuing education every year. And so that's the first step of it, where we have to go to the local inspection agencies. They hold these what do you call them? They hold them meetings that we're going to get 2 hours, 8 hours, and continuing education. And then also the inspectors will follow up and say, hey, this is a new code coming out. Hey, this is what we're seeing. And so that's it first hits me or the other master electricians. And then once a month, we have dedicated entire team meetings, and we'll do some training in there. We'll do some testings, we'll make it fun, and we'll hand out some PDFs, and everybody has to sign on it to make sure, like, hey, this is what we're seeing now, guys. Did you see it? Did you accept that? Most of the training is hands-on. This is how, as blue collar people are, it's best to get it instead of being theory. But it's something that we have to have, because there's the engineers and this UL, they're constantly updating the code. They're just making it so expensive for homeowners and business owners to operate electrically, which we had to funnel through us. But to do it, it is making it safer. It is making it for more practical measures as well. But it comes through us through training.
You mentioned something real important, code. And code could change year to year. And something that was in code before, I mean, I've had these experiences where, well, that's been code all these years, and the homeowner says, well, why isn't it still allowed? And you have to explain that changes. What are some of these codes, or what are some of the changes you're seeing in codes right now, or what can people expect for either the electric industry or business owners that they should keep in mind down the road?
Yeah. If you're going to wire up a new home or completely overhaul it, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now everything has to be arc fault protected. We need more disconnects outside for even air conditionings, or GFI protection for air conditionings, and that's a couple $100 upgrade. The services, probably the most expensive single item for your home, your circuit breakers. Now that's going to be expensive. You have to have a disconnecting means. That's going to be making more. Yes, and more. They want to do surge protection, which we try to give everybody the opportunity to buy surge protection. Now it's going to be required. It's just, and every 3 years this code gets updated. It takes a couple of years for the townships and city to update it, but every year they update something. It's just more money, but it is more about safety.
You really have to be on the cutting edge, and certainly there are things that you kind of hear and see that, like any other business owner, going, you kind of scratch your head and wonder, why are we doing that? And I think for all of us, it's a matter of staying motivated, staying inspired, and keeping your crew and your staff and your employees that way. Who motivates and inspires you, Brad?
Wow. So number one is my dad. My dad, my parents are still happily married. My dad's my biggest hero for sure. He did retire from Pico Energy several years ago. He's my hero, and he just worked his tail off. and he was a great father, coach, did all the right things. And I just see him live frugally and work very hard. And when the weather was bad, he was out there working for Pico. And I just saw that work ethic. And he told me these little line items. I remember when I was a kid, when we were working out back, he was just like, always outwork the man next to you. Always ask to stay busy, and you will always have a job. And I remember that. And it's like that little sentence. I don't know if he remembers it, but I remember it. And I know when I first started out in jobs, like whatever I was doing, working at restaurants or landscaping, I would just make sure, hey, what do you want me to do next? What do you want me to do next? And that was always received well. And they took that as a good work ethic. And man, I just love that.
How do people contact TriPoint for all their electric needs?
We can be reached online through Google. You can look us up on our website, and that's going to be www.tripointelectric.com. Also, our CSR can answer the phone for you. Our phone number is 215-817-5030. We're across all social media platforms. You can get on our email list. That's at tripointelectric@gmail.com. And that's probably about it. Yeah, phone, email, and internet.
You're out and about in Delco and you have a cheesesteak craving. Where are you stopping for your cheesesteak?
When I was in Broomall, when I lived there, I was hitting up Delco Steaks a lot. So I know the Reynolds very well, but they put out a good steak.
How about pizza? Where are you going for your pizza?
That's a good one. So I'm gonna go to Thunderbird. After I didn't have it for many, many years, I started eating it again. I'm like, wow. And the pizza is great. If they have this one guy cooking it, it's amazing. If you go on a different night, it's good, but it's not the amazing one.
You're honing right into who's making your pizza. You know the guy that's making your pizza and you know it's done right for you.
I do. Yep. It's no joke.
This portion of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to us by Taft Treats. That's TAFF Treats.com, where you can find all their array of amazing freeze-dried delicacies. Order them online, have them shipped to your door, or check out where they can be found around Delco. And what they want to know, Brad, is what do you like on your pizza?
Plain or pepperoni? I'm simple.
We are in such a plainer pepperoni trend right now. It's interesting to me. We get all the arrays, but you just keep it simple. You go with what you love, right?
Yeah, that's how you're going to test it. If you're talking about pizza, you got to try the plain, then maybe one topping. I'll do meat lovers, I'll do bacon and ranch, but if you want to know how that pizza is consistently, you got to have a piece of plain.
I know you're in your vehicle, your work truck, you're out and about, and you have a convenience store need. Where are you stopping? Wawa, Royal Farms, or Sheets?
Wawa. Yeah, it's Wawa. I'll see the other ones, but Wawa's just everywhere.
Brad, how do you describe Delco to someone who's never been here before or has not heard of Delco?
Delco is Delco. It's hard to explain, and it's actually I was a Delco lifer, born and raised in Delco. I loved it. I would never see a reason to move, but of course, you know what? I got the girl, and her family lived a little bit different up in Monco, and so I followed the girl and migrated up to her and her family, and I love it. But how they think of Delco and how other people outside of Delco think of Delco is just hilarious. They think it's some big scary town that's in the movies for trouble. And I'm like, no, I had a great upbringing. Yes, I went down the wrong road and I got into trouble, but that was for my own making. Growing up in Marple Newtown, it was great, but it's great food, good education, and really it's a you're close to the city, close to the shore, close to the mountains. Like, why would you ever want to leave?
Brad, you have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them to or take them to that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
That's a great question. So I would take them to Pika's is a mainstay. So I would say Pika's. Um, where else? And then maybe a restaurant in media, maybe like Spazos or something in media is really cool.
I love how many people like you ask, or when I ask the question, you answer that we're going on a food tour. We're going to keep the bellies happy and it's going to be a very social, very enjoyable time. Is there anything we haven't spoken about today on the podcast, Brad? You want listeners to know more about you or more about TriPoint Electric?
Man, that I love. I do love Delco. Like we sit in Havertown, so it's we're close to the main line in Delco, and it's something that always could connected to, and want to always keep serving. All my employees are mostly from Delco, and we're growing, and just wanted to love to earn your work and a relationship with you guys.
Brad, we're grateful for your time today. Thank you for being a friend of what's happening in Delco. This is a point in time where people are either driving or exercising or doing something, and that in their head they go, you know what, I got some electrical needs, or my business needs some upgrading, or we're thinking about buying a house. This is the time to reach out and contact you, Brad, TriPoint Electric. People are ready to help you, get to work for you, and they're going to be really happy that they reached out. So again, thanks for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you out and about in Delco.
Thanks for having me, Rich. This is great.
Thank you. Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I've been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.